Artificial intelligence is transforming everything from healthcare and finance to national defense. But with great power comes, well, the risk of things going terribly wrong. That's why we need frameworks to manage these risks. And one of the most promising ones is from the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. It's called the AI Risk Management Framework. AI systems can offer massive benefits, speed, efficiency, and insight. But poorly managed, they can amplify bias, violate security policy, and make some pretty catastrophic decisions. So we need a structured way to manage these risks and keep the risk-reward scale in balance. And that's where the AI Risk Management Framework comes in. Let's take a look. If we're going to trust AI, we need certain characteristics in place for it to be a truly trustworthy AI. NIST defines these as follows. So it says, first of all, it needs to be valid. It needs to be accurate, in other words. It needs to be reliable. If the information coming out of it doesn't make sense or isn't true, well, then the rest of it isn't going to be trustworthy. What else does it need? Well, it needs to be safe. That is, we want the AI not to endanger human life or property or the environment or anything like that. It also needs to be secure and resilient. In this case, we know that AI is going to have stuff of value. So that means bad guys will try to break it. They're going to try to make it where it's not available or where it's leaking information or where they poison it and again make it untrustworthy. So it needs to be secure and resilient. It needs to be explainable and interpretable. We need to be able to explain why it has done what it has done, why it's saying what it's saying, and what does all of that mean? It ought to be able to be interpreted by someone who's an expert in the field that we're asking these questions of. Not necessarily a technology expert. So if I'm asking it a medical question, a doctor would look at it and say, yeah, that's an explainable result, and it's interpretable. I can see what that is. What else? It needs to preserve privacy. It needs to have private preserving, enhancing capabilities in it so that everything I put into it, it doesn't just go blab to the rest of the world. You wouldn't trust someone if you told them a secret and then they published it on the internet. It's the same way with AI, so we want it to preserve privacy. It needs to be fair. We don't want it to be biased for or against any particular population. That goes without saying. Also, if it were biased, we wouldn't get accurate information, so that would affect the validity of the system. And then ultimately, it needs to be accountable. It needs to be accountable and transparent. We want to be able to see into it. We can't have this whole thing as a big black box. We need to be able to understand how it's working, what are the technical underpinnings. You put all of these things together, and now you have a system that you can trust.